Well, in some glad morning, when this life is over, I'll fly away, I'll fly away. I'm going to a home.
Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend, relaxed, renewed, had some downtime, got to do some stuff to charge the batteries again. I hope everybody watched worship yesterday and participated in worship yesterday. And when we see the graduates, be sure to congratulate them and say a prayer for them, all of them. The University and Beyond graduates, their accolades and congratulations got sent out in the notes from Patmos. So be sure to check that if you haven't. So on to today, we're going to go into Matthew's gospel, into the parable of the sower. So the sower went out to sow seeds, and some of the seeds fell on rocky ground and came up fast but died. Some were sown on the path and just withered right away. Some were sown in good soil and produced some 100, some 50, some 30, I think. So there's that. And then the complicated part comes when the disciples like, why are you speaking in parables? Why don't you just tell people? What does all this mean? And Jesus has an explanation that the people's ears are dull, their hearts are dull, and he quotes the prophet Isaiah to back that up, about dull hearts. And so we're left here with sort of two things. One, a lot of people feel helpless when they read the parable of the sower. They're just like, well, what if I'm just the path? I can't change that. I can't do anything. Or what if I'm rocky soil and I was just born rocky soil? What do I do? Or I'm born good soil. No worries. But there's a little hinge in there. I won't get into the mysteries of predestination and election and all of that. I will say that our Lord assumes we have the capacity to change in some degree, at least within this parable, as I understand it, because Jesus talks about speaking in parables as a way to reward those whose ears aren't dull, whose hearts aren't dull, who are alert and listening, and whose hearts are open and active for the word and for good works and charity and virtue and all those things. And so he speaks in parables as a way to reward that. He speaks condemningly and openly, in no uncertain terms. When he speaks to the Pharisees or things like that. But here you see sort of a reward for people making the effort to be good, to keep their hearts sharp, their ears sharp and open. And so that's a challenge for us today, is to tend our soil, to till it and soften the hard rocky path, to pick the rocks out of the soil, and make our souls a dwelling place ready and sharp, having sharp ears and a heart that is alive and active. Because if you think about it, what does it mean to have a dull heart and dull ears? Think about it, it's like road noise or any other kind of noise. If you just surround yourself with, after a while, you sort of become deaf to things, or you just become indifferent about things. You watch enough news, you watch 72 hours of news, and you're indifferent. When you flood your mind and your brain with all sorts of things that aren't good, and just take in everything all the time, it dulls the senses. So we have to be careful with that. We have to be intentional and limit the amount of exposure we have to worldly things. And we also have to be intentional and give time over to keeping our ears open and sharp, keeping our hearts open and receptive. Because if not, we get bowled over, ears become dull, hearts become dull, and then we're in a world of hurt. So challenge for today, think about your soil type. Is it a path? Is it rocky? Is it fertile? If not, what instruments are needed to make it fertile and good soil? Have your hearts and your ears, as the prophet Isaiah saith and Jesus quoted, have they become dull? Have you flooded your life and your being with so much noise and so many things that you're apathetic, that you're uncaring, that nothing shocks you, that nothing brings you joy? So think about that and work on it, because I believe that we can become fertile soil. I believe we can take dull hearts and dull ears and perk them up and make them alive. So God bless you all. Happy Monday.
World, joy shall never end. I fly away.